YouTube. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring the mic up. Rachel, how are you today or this evening?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I was just talking with you. You grew up in the Spokane Valley. You're a city or a valley girl, as they say, in Spokane. But you really like country life as well, is what it sounded like.
I do, yeah. I haven't spent too much time out here, but growing up, my grandparents had a bit of land outside of Newport, so we definitely came up here and did some camping. And it wasn't real camping; it was in a trailer, but it felt like camping.
Oh yeah, right. Well,
so I have fond memories out here.
Yeah, and I grew up like on a homestead, so it's like when I go out and camp, it's like, well, this reminds me a lot of the way I grew up.
Yeah.
So, not having like the amenities of a house in town, basically. So yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoy my lazy boy nowadays, but
there's perks.
But it seems like my wife likes it more. But it's like I'm the one on the couch, she's the one on the lazy boy. She works hard though; she deserves it. So.
Right on.
So you've been a musician for how long? How long have you been playing guitar?
Well, so I picked up a little bit of guitar in high school Bible study, but I've really only been playing kind of seriously for a year or two. I'm just getting into bar chords. I would still consider myself a beginner. Eventually, I know I have to stop saying that, but relatively new at guitar. I've been singing for longer.
Gotcha. Well, what's real interesting about the guitar is like you level up, you get better and better, but it's like something you can never completely, I think, master. I mean, there's definitely some guitar players out there that are really, really good, but there's always something new you can learn with the instrument. It's just got that much. So I commend you for taking on the task of learning how to play guitar. And yeah, bar chords are hard because you got to really squeeze with the fingers and whatnot. So yeah. I've been playing guitar since I was 14, I think. It was when I first got a guitar. And played in bands in high school and kind of was in and out of different bands growing, until now. And now I play in quite a few. But I just have you ever played in a band?
I have, yeah. So the first real band I was a part of, we're called Sunset Highway. It's based out in Rearden. So we do classic rock, country covers. It's pretty low key. It's fun. And I actually just started a band with my friend Art Baker. He plays steel guitar. So we started kind of like a classic country band called the Virginia Rails. So it's brand new. We just started playing, but
wow.
I'm really excited for it.
Already got a name and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I got business cards too.
Well, there you go.
They sell those to anybody. You don't have to be.
Don't have to be what is that, qualified or whatever. You can just go on to Vistaprint or whatever, one of the sites and do that. Or I shouldn't plug Vistaprint. What's the one that I'm trying to think of what it is. I don't use it. I do use it every once in a while, but any of those online sites you can use to make stickers, or you can make merchandise and T-shirts and all that different stuff. There's actually a really good place up in Colville that does T-shirts and embroidery and stuff. That's nice because you can do those on a website, but then you don't really know what you're going to get. But you can actually go into a physical place and they can show you one before you order like 100 of them.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have any recordings?
So we've got some in the works. Arthur is helping me do some recordings, but it's kind of, now that we've got this new band going, I think the band is what we're more excited about. So the recordings are kind of on hold. They're not mixed. We have the rough bones, but they're just kind of sitting on a thumb drive somewhere. But
gotcha. So you did do some tracks, but you haven't published them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're maybe 75% done, but it's like you said, it's really hard to ever be fully finished. There's always ways to improve. So. Yeah,
I've been working on we've got 2 singles out for my band, Two Stones, One Bird, and we have quite a few other ones that are in the works of being done, but we're just they're not quite ready to release yet. So I'm excited to get those out there because we've been performing those songs for a couple years now or more. We actually did a live show here where we performed a lot of them, and unfortunately it got lost over because there's a certain amount of time where a live video where they just had them up, and then all of a sudden, like YouTube and Facebook and the different social media sites started deleting them after 30 days. And so we ended up losing it. And so I don't think we have an actual copy of it, which is too bad, but, just means we got to do it again.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, you know where the source is, so you can.
Well, right. And I mean, it's like there was definitely some high spots and some spots that maybe weren't as high where, little mistakes and whatnot that you hear later. But speaking of playing, do you want to maybe open up with a song of yours? Or?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, what do you got? What's it called? And maybe you can we can talk about it maybe after you play it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I wrote pretty recently. It's called I Don't Think About Heaven Anymore.
Okay, this is Rachel Brodhead on KCHW 102.7 Northern Lights Public Radio.
No, sir, I don't go to church more than 10 times in any given year. And I still hold some hurt handed to me by someone no longer here. Some days I just sit down with my pain, but this morning I realized a change. You see, I still read the good book, and I pray like never before, but I don't think about heaven anymore. Well, there was a time before I knew what it felt like to be free, before I knew what good could come of me. So I squandered my youth, hanging out my window, counting down the days, till he came along and shook me from my haze. Still the mirror likes to point out all my scars, till he pulls me to the backyard and says, baby, can't you see those stars? You see, I still read the good book, and I pray like never before, but I don't think about heaven anymore. He taught me just how good this life can be, and in his arms I feel a love so pure and heavenly. So you see why I still read the good book, and I pray like never before, but I don't think about heaven. I don't think about heaven. I don't think about heaven anymore. I don't think about heaven anymore.
You don't think about heaven anymore.
It sounds depressing, but I promise it's a happy song.
I didn't think of it as a depressing thing, but I've went through some changes in my life that were very difficult, and a big reason that I was able to get through those circumstances was finding a new faith in the Lord. I've always felt very spiritual, but when I was going through my darkest times, having that hand reach and grab me out of the gutter and pull me up and lift me to where I could be upright again and not feel like I was down in the ditch anymore was really, really a blessing. And to find that helped me, lead a life of sobriety where, not drinking anymore. I was a, casual drinker, but, most people probably didn't think I had a problem, but I felt I had a problem. Like I just couldn't say no. And I was always around people that were drinking, so it was like really hard for me to quit. So
Yeah.
I just had to make the decision to just choose not to drink. And that's what I do. So, yeah.
That's
So-
awesome. I
yeah.
feel like especially in the music community, it's hard to avoid alcohol. It's basically everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure how to find that balance yet, but
Well, and I mean, some people are able to negotiate it, right? Where I think whether it's my genetics or whatever, but it was just like once I had one, I mean, it's like there was no turning back after that point. It was all or nothing. And that's just what I had to come to the realization is I can't be just a person that drinks one, because one is too many. Because I'll end up, I can't just have one. I'll have multiple, until I'm like really not slowing down. So yeah, I just found that, it was best that if I want to be a musician and I want to stick with doing that, I just cannot drink. And that's just the way it took me many years to figure that out, but but anyway, do you have another song that you'd like to play or?
yeah.
I really like that song. I could tell Chuck was over there. He was having a little moment over there. He tends to cry. He is a crier, so
Oh, really?
yeah. He
Should
gets
that be my goal?
he
to
gets
make Chuck
emotional.
cry?
Yeah, he does.
Right on. Well, yeah, this next one, it's called Blame It on a Rainy Day. It's a little bit similar. It's kind of, I wrote it a few weeks ago. It's about navigating highs and lows, So on a really bad day, right? Let me try and I'll do my best to put this into words. But on a really bad day, your negative outlook feels just as real as how good things can feel on a good day. And you just have to decide what you believe, because both glass half full and half empty can feel very real. So yeah, maybe that'll come through.
That's great. No, I appreciate that, because I mean it is a balance, and I know from my own journey that you can definitely fall into the lows like head over heels, where it's like you really don't have to, like you choose to do that. Like you can actually choose to like not let it affect you in the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't always control what we feel in the moment, but you can decide what you're choosing to believe in.
Or how you react to it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Blame it on a rainy day. Think I'll blame it on the clouds. Think what I'm gonna say is when the rain washes away, I'm gonna feel better than I do now. I used to believe in love, used to have no problem thinking that was enough. But now it all makes sense. Most of love's just self-defense. Wish I didn't know what I know now. Yesterday morning felt the light, but yesterday morning feels so out of reach tonight. But it all comes only truth I ever found. Come tomorrow morning, it'll feel alright. So blame it on a rainy day. Think I'll blame it on the clouds. Think what I gotta say is when those dark clouds roll away, I'm gonna feel better than I do now. Oh yes, I'm gonna feel better than I do now.
That was like yesterday. It was really a rainy day yesterday.
Yeah.
I had a good day though. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was just what I noticed is that it was warm and rainy, which we haven't really had that. Usually it's cold and rainy. So it's like I didn't know whether I needed like my coat or if I just needed like a flannel.
Yeah.
Or an umbrella. I was just like it was interesting weather yesterday.
As long as the sun comes out at some point, I'm good. Otherwise, I don't get very much done when it looks like yesterday.
Right, yeah. So I noticed that you were performing or at least doing an open mic with Tabitha Smith. Is that correct? So you know Tab.
I do know Tab.
She is like a local music celebrity in Spokane. I mean, she does a lot to promote music all across the board, which is something I'm very impressed about. I did have her come last summer and do a little performance, do a little interview with us, which was amazing. She's such a raw talent and just a genuine human, and there's a lot of love in that lady, and it's cool. So, have you done some work with her at all, or just
not a ton? So I met her at Checkerboard for open mic. That was kind of the first open mic I started going to a couple years back, and I'd see her around. I saw her around town all the time, but I never really knew like what this person was about, right? But then at open mic, I kind of saw how colorful she is as a person, and so we connected, and we just got together to jam because she heard a song that I played, "You'll Never Leave Harlan Alive." It's kind of an old Appalachian tune.
Mm-hmm.
Patty Loveless did an amazing version of it, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I know that song." So we got together and we did a few tunes. She's definitely a sweetie.
Well, and she's been working on the ukulele.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, when she came in, she was just starting to do songs with it. Now I've noticed that she's playing all kinds of different songs on it, which is amazing to me. I mean, it's, not being able to see what you're feeling it. You feel the music. It's a whole different ballgame. I mean, sometimes I play and I just close my eyes and just start playing too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of an interesting way to do it. Like if you take away the vision sense, it's like you're just feeling it and you're hearing it. You're not seeing it too. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive. I personally, especially for guitar, since it's not my strong suit, I really love having charts, and so I can see what's coming up next and I can adjust, and to not have that, it's really impressive.
Mm-hmm. But I noticed you're doing some like back and forth bass, like you're hitting, like you're doing a strumming pattern, but you're also playing the bass notes and kind of moving them around from the root and the fifth. And I play bass, so it's like I can hear that, and I'm like, that's good because you're giving good texture behind your voice, because just strumming all by itself kind of gets monotonous, right?
Yeah.
And so like I even like threw my pick away for a couple years and just practiced finger picking, so that sometimes when I just pick up my guitar, I can just comp with my fingers instead of using the pick. So it's, the guitar, like I said, there's a lot of different things you can practice on the guitar.
Yeah,
And
it
so-
seems endless. I just started taking lessons with Darren. I think you know Darren.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, really sweet guy. I'm painfully aware of how much I need to practice.
Well, and so what's interesting is last month I actually asked him. I was like, "Hey, Darren, I want to take some classes from you." And I've been playing, and I'm been playing for a long time, but still, there's always stuff to learn. And it's like I want to work. I play bass and rhythm mainly, and I'm like, I would really like to bring my lead work up. So he's been helping me with some practicing, just basically it's good to have a coach, somebody to be like, no, you need to practice. Like, you need to do this stuff. And it's like, he can look at what I know or hear what we can talk about music. And then he can be like, well, what about this? What about this? And just little things, like very minor things, but it's really helping me find a voice playing lead, which is what I'm trying to do. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, once you know which direction to go, I think there's a ton of resources online as far as learning, but you're not going to have someone actually call you out in the ways that maybe your form is bad unless you're physically with somebody. Like, you can't find everything online,
Mm-hmm. Well, and I noticed, like, he's a very kind person, so he's not like, he doesn't like beat me up, to get the information across. He might be like, like, make sure that finger's not going there, because that's not gonna work for what we're trying to accomplish. I'm like, oh, okay. Because of course, I've been playing long enough. You develop bad habits. You might not see it as a bad habit, but from an outside perspective, it's like, no, really, you should, like, have your elbow down, this way, or, your pick hand's too rigid. It should be more fluid, or whatever. I mean, I've actually given lessons too, so it's not, there's no pride for me. I'm just like, I just would like to learn more, and I think having Darren there, like, coaching me a little bit has been just a big benefit. So. Mm-hmm.
I have no complaints so far.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was a plug for Darren Hildebrandt. Just plain Darren. If you're wanting to learn guitar, that guy is a great guitar instructor and voice too. He sings and plays. I actually have a memory of when I went from middle school to high school, and this is many years ago. We went to Deer Lake, and there was a church camp there, and we did a transition camp. Well, his band, Red Robin, I think it was, but it was a faith-based band, but they were like the entertainment at the end of the camp. And it was like,
oh, no way.
I made that connection later just because I was like going through like old articles and stuff, and I read that, and I was like, Darren? And I'm like, wait a minute. And I met him after the fact. My parents actually booked him at their little coffee shop that we had in town, and they called me when I was in college, said, you got to hear this guy. He's awesome. And then I booked him like I did Nathan Ostrander at my restaurant. I would also get Darren to come up and play too. So, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. It's a small little musical community we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually giving lessons to my main guitar player in the band, and he's given lessons to our bass player on guitar. So he's basically responsible for over half the band, guitar skills. So eventually I'll probably have to find a way to thank him for it.
Yeah, it'd be like Darren's band, or what would that be? A band of Darrens. No way. Maybe that's taken. I don't know. But anyway. So do you have another song that you'd like to serenade us with here?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So this next one, I do want to give a little bit of a preface. So this song's called Woman Without a Child. And I think what got me thinking about this is I have a lot of family who it's very important to have kids in the family that I grew up in. My sister and I have some health issues. It's not really something that's feasible. And so this was kind of just about hoping that we can be recognized as people, and I would hope that people would see a life can be really meaningful and beautiful even without kids. So that's kind of what that's about. It's not a diss to anyone with kids. I want to make that very clear. It's just kind of a personal.
Yeah.
I work hard for something I believe in, and I smile for no good reason. And I spend my days doing things that feel worthwhile. I've seen places you've never dreamed of, seen a good man who honors my freedom. Oh, but all you see is a woman without a child. Later on, I regret it, I know, 'cause the man on my my TV told me so. I've got a sister and a brother, an old dog and a sweet souled lover, and I don't deserve for my life to be on trial. I've climbed mountains, seen the ocean, and I ain't just going through the motions. And still all you see is a woman without a child. Later on, I'll regret it, I know. 'Cause the man in the church pew told me so. No, you don't have to be a mother to make a difference in the lives of others, or to keep yourself from running off the rails all wild. The sun will keep on burning, this old world will keep on turning. Just let me be a woman without a child. Oh, just let me be a woman without a child. In a perfect world, I'd have a really cool steel guitar solo in there, but today it's just me, and I'm just one girl, so.
Working on it, right? Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, and it's everybody's got their own life and struggles and joys and different things, and you can't really, it's important not to judge. I mean, I wrote this article for the Northern Beat, and I think I was talking about passing a rig coming into Chewelah, and it looked like it was actually driving sideways, but it was going straight down the road, but the whole vehicle had been smashed to the point to where it looked like it was driving sideways. And I kind of joked about it at first. I think I sent a message to a friend of mine or something when I got into Chewelah, but then when I was writing an article, I kind of, we joke about the beater with the heater. It's like a cliche or whatever, but that was probably their only mode of transportation, is what I was thinking. And it's like and then I kind of went into this story about in the Midwest, I think it was in Michigan or somewhere. I mean, that's not the Midwest, but basically back east in a different community, people had been making fun of this Chevy pickup that had the bed was completely smashed, like a tree had fell on it, but the guy was still driving it to work and all around town, and people would be like they'd always point and stuff. And somebody actually ended up raising a bunch of money to buy him a new rig. And I just thought that was a really, instead of making fun of the person that has the crappy rig, why don't we crowdfund or do things to maybe help their situation, because maybe they don't have the means to fix it, or they don't have the means to get a new one, so they're just getting by with what they have. So
yeah, that's really admirable. I'm glad the community got together. Growing up, my dad's pickup truck, he had a 1960s Toyota, and there were holes on the side of it where it had been rusted through. He just duct taped over it, But if it works, it works. And I think the less you have, the more innovative you get. But yeah, it's easy. It's definitely easy to just kind of judge from the get-go. And, there's a healthy place for humor, right? It's not like we can't have humor, but also it has to be paired with empathy. And I don't know, there's a balance somewhere. Yeah,
for sure. Well, and one thing I've noticed, a young musician who won Chewelah's Got Talent last year, he went to school in Wyoming. He's from Northport. His name's Matthew Tippich. And what I've noticed with Matthew is he's an amazing musician, but he tends to choose to make it hard on himself. Like, he doesn't use a strap on his guitar. So he'll be playing in front of an audience, and he'll be trying to figure out how to hold the guitar so he can get it into the microphone. And where it's like he could have a guitar like yours that plugs in, and he has the means to get that, but it's like he likes the struggle, and sometimes the struggle is what makes it art, if that makes any sense. So it's like injecting, like, so your situation, maybe not having everything handed to you or whatnot, or health things or different things in your life, that is what makes your art unique, is the different things that you're going through. So I just noticed with Matthew, it's like, man, like, he's not standing still. It's because he can't hold that guitar and play like he's doing, and it's like he has to, like, in order to play a bar chord, he has to, like, almost sit down on the ground and do it. And it's just, to me, it's really interesting, and it's very entertaining to watch. So,
well, and once he gets it fully down, I mean, it's like Johnny Cash, where he uses his guitar like a shotgun, or like the famous,
right.
It could be a signature thing that's what people might know him for down the road. So,
well, exactly. I mean, it's like with him, it's accordion and plays guitar and banjo. I mean, he's just he anything, you put anything in his hands that makes sound, and he'll figure out how to play it. It's pretty awesome. But speaking of which, we have Chewelah's Got Talent happening on the 30th. So if you haven't got your tickets, make sure to get tickets for Chewelah's Got Talent. We have a whole long list of great talented people that are going to be competing for that cash here. So maybe next year you could audition for Chewelah's Got Talent, because we do it every year.
Am I allowed to? I'm a city girl.
Yeah, you are. Everybody's allowed to. Yeah, we don't.
There's no cutoff?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I mean, I haven't competed myself, but I was like performing professionally when I was like 17 and 16, and so it's like, am I going, well, maybe I've missed my opportunity, but anyway. So, do you have another tune that you'd like to play?
Yeah, I've got a couple more.
And if you just tuned in, this is Rachel Brodhead from the Spokane Valley performing some original music. Is that mic stand giving you a hard time?
Oh, it's okay.
It likes to keep moving over, yeah.
It's an art, so.
But anyway, I heard one of your songs, I think, on a like Instagram or somewhere. I think it was on maybe Tabitha's page. Maybe she shared like a duet that you guys did, and I was like, I'm going to reach out to her and see if she wants to be on the radio. There you go. That's
I'm really
how it happens.
grateful you did.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. This next song is called Not the Way. I wrote this about a year ago. I was working downtown at a credit union, and most of my job was actually just interacting with people that were homeless and trying to commit check fraud to end up buying drugs, and people in really tough spots. We also had quite a few clients or members of the credit union who didn't have a lot of empathy, so we'd be trying to help people that really could use a hand up, and then having to justify it to people who didn't believe they should have a hand up. So that's what this is about, just how easy it would be for any of us to end up in a really bad spot. I've been walking around, getting to know this old town, but I still haven't found a corner that feels like home. Don't really know where I'm at, but I don't feel like going back until I shake this sense of sad. I guess I'll just roam. This is not the way that I thought I would be. Getting lost, this is not the way a person should be found. You said it's not the way I should deal with the pain that you made me feel. It's just not the way
to pick yourself off the ground. And I've seen soldiers fighting on our soil, waging wars for a piece of foil. They're just trying to find a way to feel alright. I've seen a mother walking like a ghost, children gone, but she wears their clothes. It won't be long now before she gives in to the night. This is not the way that they thought they would be, getting lost. This is not the way a person should be found. You said it's not the way they should deal with the pain that you let them feel. It's just not the way to pick yourself off the ground. And sooner or later you have to face the ugly truth from which we turn away. Will you be overcome by your pain? Nobody can say. So I've been walking around, getting to know this old town, but I still haven't found a corner that feels like home.
So I spend a lot of time downtown because that's where the office that I've been working at for the last few months is, and I did also work some construction jobs downtown. So I've witnessed people sleeping, behind the dumpsters and basically not having anywhere else to be. So they're living on the streets, and I just can't help but feel awful for them. But at the same time, when you're around it so often, you get kind of complacent with it, where you just kind of, you stop noticing it because it's just everywhere you look, and it's just super sad.
Yeah.
And it's really a moment, a certain situation, a change in your life that could put you, any of us could be in that. It's just amazing that how fragile success can be.
Yeah. I want to say, this number could be wrong, but I want to say that a few years back I read that 40% of people that are on fentanyl were originally prescribed an opioid or fentanyl in a hospital setting, like after a sports surgery. Like, you can imagine a high school kid who gets injured at a soccer game, breaks a leg, and is put on drugs. And that's the start of a very tough road. And and it doesn't have to be medically prescribed to be justified. I mean, anyone can just make a bad choice, but it doesn't mean that their whole lives should just be thrown away. I understand that businesses, especially downtown, and folks that see it all the time, it can be overwhelming, and it can be really hard to find compassion when it makes your life harder. But I mean, being raised a Christian, I feel like it's kind of our job to just figure that out, and it's not always supposed to be easy.
Well, and I got to interview Dexter King a couple times on the radio here, and he's a traveling musician, performs country, like kind of like. But I know he works for an outfit. I can't remember. Forgive me for not remembering, but he does go down and volunteers and feeds people and does that kind of stuff. And I have another friend who's a retired teacher, and he goes down and like feeds people at the mission. And it's very much because of, what would Jesus do kind of, mentality. It's like, what can we do to better the situation instead of just, it's the term that I remember in college was diffusion of responsibility. Basically, when you're in a large collective like community, when there's one person that's not doing well, everybody just kind of ignores it because somebody else is going to take care of them. But like if you were out in like say the tundra and there's a person that needed your help and there was nobody else around, you of course would help them. So what happens is like in a collective organization and everybody's busy doing their own things, they don't think to stop to help anybody because they're too worried about what they're doing and they just think somebody else is going to do it.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And when the problem's so large, it's like, I mean, you can maybe help one person, but there's going to be 100 other people on the street that you can't help, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to help the one if there's a safe way to do so, or if you're morally called to do that.
Mm-hmm. I had a really strange experience when I was downtown Spokane after the clubs had, shut down for the night, and I was going on foot down to the Satellite by myself. And I had a very large homeless man approach me and basically asked if I had any food. And I said no, but I will buy you breakfast. I'm going to the Satellite. If you want to come down and have breakfast, I will pay for it. And so he did, and he ordered something very minimal on the menu. Like he didn't like go all out. Like I was like, get it, whatever you want, and he ended up getting, something that was not that expensive. But at the end of it, he looked straight at me and he asked if he could have money for drugs. And I didn't give him money for drugs. I fed him, but, at the same time, he drank his few cups of coffee and then, anyway. But it was just kind of a interesting situation. And I don't know if that man, because I know there was a football player that won the Super Bowl that was living on the streets in Spokane. In order to be a football player, you have to be very big. And this guy was big. Like, he could have been a football player. So I've just always thought that maybe I fed that guy and maybe that changed his life. What if? But at the same time, just something where I felt like I went a little beyond what I think most people would have done. I think a lot of people would have probably been like, get out of here or whatever, But he was huge, so I was like, I should feed the guy. Like, he's obviously hungry. Yeah,
that's really good. I think that feeding people is a very basic, fundamental. I mean, it's easy, right? Like, you don't have to feel bad about giving someone food or water. It's just, there's no harm that can come from it. It's a very positive option. It's not going to fix all of their problems, but at least they won't necessarily be hungry that day. Maybe they'll have better tools to make a good choice, but do what you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're just tuning in, this is KCHW 1027 Northern Lights Public Radio, the Northern Beat with Craig McQuain and my guest, Rachel Brodhead. Thank you, Rachel, for joining us this evening. I know you drove quite a few miles to get up here through road construction, through some roundabouts.
It's a really pretty drive. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Was that my phone? I don't know what that was. Something happened. But anyway, let's see. We've got about 10 more minutes. Do you have a couple more songs?
I do have a couple more songs.
All right, perfect. Well, let's do that. So we'll play the next one, and then I'll do a little plug on my upcoming shows. Do you have any planned events coming up that you're going to be performing at or anything?
I do, yeah. So my band, the Virginia Rails, so this new country band, I'm really excited for. We have a couple of dates.
Go ahead and talk right into that mic, yeah.
Okay. So our next one upcoming June 1st at Zola. It's a Monday night from 6 to 8. Zola is doing this really cool thing where on Mondays they do Feast World Kitchen. So they'll have, I think for a month or two, they'll have a special menu and people from Feast World Kitchen will come in and cook special food. So I think this coming Monday, it's Venezuelan food.
Oh, cool.
But we'll be playing 6 to 8. I'm really excited for it. And then we'll also be at Scalehouse Farmers Market on June 28th and Big Barn Brewery on July 25th. We just played at Big Barn, and it's a lovely place.
Isn't it? I've played there before, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Craig and Jane, they're so nice. They're so good people. And, yeah, it's just lovely up there. It
Yeah.
feels very much family-oriented.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the Big Barn Brewery, right? It's in Green Bluff, right?
Yes.
I have that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, what song do you have next, Rachel?
Yeah, so this next one's called Seminole Shore. It's a bit of a heavy one, but I wrote this about, sometimes if you've historically had issues with depression or anxiety, a lot of times those feelings can resurface even when everything is going okay. And it's sometimes hard to live with that balance of you can have a really good day on the surface, but unable to shake sort of those heavier feelings. So that's what this is about.
Well, and I just wanted to let you know that the person that's standing out there is our upcoming DJ, and that is my dad. So he does a
nice.
radio show right after mine, and it's blues. It's called Dirt Road Blues with Doug McQuain. So that's who. So yeah,
Oh, right
he's
on.
being very polite. He's just staying out there, but that's who that is. So I'm expecting him. I was going to tell you earlier, so you weren't like going, "Who's this new guy?" Like, yeah.
He smiled, he waved, I assumed.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. Let's hear it, Rachel.
Took my baby down to the Seminole shore. Damn near forgotten what I came here for. We had a real good time down in the orchids and the vines. Kept me from feeling like I'm losing my mind. Like I'm losing my mind. But I got to thinking while we're out here sinking, our floaters in the water that I'd rather be a drinking. Down in the alligator layers of the muck and mire, whiskey's pulling me down, but I ain't never felt higher. No, I ain't never felt higher. Baby's been good to me for 7 years, but at the end of the night, I'm still choking back my tears. I got an empty job apartment, an empty room, lots of empty little bottles that I drink down in our room. And once I tried to tell you, babe, I'm feeling ill. Felt better for a minute, but I feel it still. Don't wanna make you worry, so I medicate myself. But even when you're by my side, still alone in this hell. I'm still alone in this hell. But I never got to thinking while we're out here sinking, our floaters in the water that I wanted to drown down. And the alligator layers, thinking of our Lord and Savior, sending up a prayer as the bog's pulling me down. We would never be found. Oh Lord. Took my baby down to the Seminole shore. Damn near forgotten what I came here for. We had a real good time down in the orchids and the vines. Kept me from feeling like I'm losing my mind. Like I'm losing my mind.
All right. This is KCHW 1027 Northern Lights Public Radio. You're listening to the Northern Beat with Craig McQuain and my special guest, Rachel Brodhead. Thank you, Rachel, for joining us. I'm going to just mention that I am playing down at Chan's Red Dragon on Friday night with my mom and dad. That's Craig and the Brats with our friends Denver Rhiannon and Jacob Van Noe. Then on Saturday, I'll be at the Colbert Trading Company, which is in Colbert, Washington, and I'll be playing acoustic there from 6 to 9 p.m. I believe it's 6 to 9 p.m. And then also I have an upcoming show at the Empire Theater in Tico with Northwest Breeze, Two Stones, One Bird, Jake Rozier, and that's going to be June 13th. My band Two Stones, One Bird is actually going to be playing in Baker City on the 12th, and then we're going to be driving up to Tico and performing there at the Empire Theater. I do have tickets available for that show. Pre-sale is $15, and then it'll be $20 at the door. So, Rachel, what's the last song you have? And we're going to just kind of play out after that song. So if there's anything else you'd like to say before we're done, and then we'll transition into my dad's show. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's been really fun. This next song it's not mine. It's an old bluegrass tune, but I've been growing very fond of bluegrass lately. I can't play the bluegrass style, but I'm working on singing it. So
very cool.
Just a few old memories slipped in through my door, though I thought I had closed it so tightly before. No, I can't understand it, why it should bother my mind, for it all belongs to another place and time. Just a few old keepsakes way back on the shelf. No, they don't mean nothing. I'm surprised they're still there. Just a few old love letters with the edges all brown, and an old faded picture I keep turned upside down. Just a few old memories going way back in time. Well, I can hardly remember. I don't know why I'm crying. No, I can't understand it. No, I'm surprised by myself. First thing tomorrow morning, I'll clean off that shelf. Just a few old keepsakes way back on the shelf. No, they don't mean nothing. Oh, I'm surprised they're still left. Just a few old love letters with the edges all brown, and an old faded picture I keep turned upside down, and an old faded picture I keep turned upside down.